There you go.
All right. My name is Mike Gevorgian. I'm the, what would you call it, owner, creator, whatever, I don't know, of Circle 6. And I'm excited to do this interview with you. Let's see what's up.
Appreciate it. All right, so let's just get started. You've had 4 shows. You've had them in Los Angeles, Cleveland, and Orlando, and then a return to Los Angeles recently. With the 4 shows going down, how have you felt that the promotion's done production-wise and in-ring-wise with each show?
I think we've had a steady growth with how everything's kind of developed. I feel like it's starting to get better and better every time. The shows are flowing a little bit smoother every time. That first show was such a chaotic situation to put together because it all kind of came together last minute with changes and whatnot and having to move the lineup around and venues and everything. So I feel as we've been kind of going forward, we're really finding a good rhythm here. So I think I would say that our last LA show was probably our best paced, best performances, kind of all around like enjoyable experience we've had.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat with your Los Angeles show. The Hope for the Hopeless was probably by far the best in-ring work we've seen out of the 4 shows. Going with that, a lot of it goes into the locker room and how it feels in the locker room. Is there anyone that's actually stepped up as a locker room leader that you've noticed in the last 4 shows, or even just in this last LA show? Has anyone like stepped forward as that leader role type for Circle 6, or is it more of a joint effort within everyone that's on the shows?
I would say it's definitely more of a joint effort. Like the locker room that we have feels really comfortable to be in. I feel like everybody's able to communicate with each other really well. Nobody's really afraid to say anything or speak up about anything if they have an idea or if they don't like something. Ricky has been the guy from day one that's kind of organized the locker room and organized the kind of like the policies and procedures and everything back there with me. He's definitely veteran, has that leadership capability there. Jake Christ 100% has stepped up. Like, he's been a godsend for us. I had never met him. We'd never worked together on anything until the first Circle 6 show. And when we did that first show back in March, he came up to me afterwards. He was like, "You like revitalized my love for pro wrestling. This is amazing." He's like, "Anything you need, anything you want, any show you have, you guys get priority for me." So he's been definitely one of the go-to guys for us in trying to like just have good communication with everyone in the locker room, and for him to help put together matches and go through stuff with people. Vinny Massaro has been awesome. We just brought him on board to kind of be our day-to-day help on shows and like organizing crew and making sure that the shows are set up properly. He's been great to bounce ideas off of just because of his years of experience. So I would say those guys, and obviously like Atticus has been my rock since the start, which has been fantastic. And, we got Zach in the mix, and he's got a plethora of experience at this point. So yeah, I think that would be probably the main things.
So speaking on Atticus and RSP, to be specific, 440 is a big focal point for Circle 6. It was evident at the last show where I believe 4 members had high-profile matches with the Eddie-only bra and panties match. You had Atticus versus Zachary Wentz. You had I believe Young Studs. They go by Young Studs.
They told me that they wanted to change their name like day of, and I said no.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I think I still refer them as Young Studs. So I'm hoping I don't get
no. You're right. I think we're gonna
or a light tube to the head next time at the show. So
no, I think you're right, but I think we're maybe referring to them as the Studs from now on. But we'll see.
Studs?
We'll
Okay.
see. I don't know. They ain't that young anymore, I guess.
So they've all had really big matches at the last show. What's the logical step for that crew? Are we going to see them all together again in one blow-off match and just one specialty match, with it being the original 440 members, with it being Eric Ryan, Bobby Beverly, RSP, Atticus in a tag match against anyone else? Or are you content keeping them kind of separate in single matches and tag team matches and just separating them like that?
I think my idea with them is that everybody in that faction has kind of like unique personality and unique capabilities. I'm letting them kind of shine on their own and get as much in as they can, just separately in these little kind of isolated groups. And you're definitely going to see them all together again. I love big multi-man tag matches. I think there's a lot you can do, especially when there's a structure to it and it's not just chaos everywhere. But what they're doing right now in the matches that they're having, it's all kind of building blocks, like I mentioned to you earlier when we were talking. It's just all of that's going to fit together in some way over the next 4 to 6 months. That's going to make a lot of sense as to why everybody's been doing what they're doing.
Okay, cool. I know I mentioned this prior. So with Atticus being one of the driving forces in Circle Six, he's coming off 4 fantastic outings against Masada, Tracy Williams, the 2 masters, Zach Wentz. Where do you go with him from here? Like, he's done. Like, you've gotten the death match with Masada. You've gotten the 2 traditional matches with Tracy Williams and Zach, and now you did recently the no DQ match. He can do everything. So I know they don't want to pigeonhole him into just doing just death match only. So like, what's the next best logical step for him? Maybe is it a championship at maybe in this early stages of the promotion?
I mean, if it's championship, he's going to have to earn it, just like everyone else. We are introducing a world title. I think probably by the time you put this out, we will have announced how that's being introduced and what's going to go down for that title match. Atticus is just going to continue to keep doing what he's doing. He's going to continue to show that he's not just a deathmatch wrestler. I think he was really pigeonholed into that. Mm-hmm. And I think when you see him with guys like Tracy Williams, when you see him with Zach in a non-hardcore deathmatch situation, and you see that he's able to keep up and work with some of the best technical guys out there, we keep giving him a little bit more of that. And save some deathmatch stuff for when it matters, right? Like
you don't want to overflow it with just throwing deathmatch here and there. You want to actually bring it back to making it a blow-off match, make it memorable rather than just, hey, we're here, we're doing another show, let's do another deathmatch.
It's got to mean something, right? Like, for us, like, we're not a deathmatch company. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to be labeled as a deathmatch company. We're a pro wrestling company. And when we do extreme stuff, when we do violent stuff, we want it to mean something. Yes, it's there because the fans want it, and there's an entertainment value for it. And that audience, we want to appease that audience as well. But we don't want to just put it in there for no reason. Like, for example, the Bobby and Eric match against Journey and Juicy from LA. That match had some build up for it from Cleveland, where Journey and Jacob wrestled the Young Studs. And this was, to me, just the next logical step, next form of that. And they put on a great match, and there's some story there that we can reference back to, and we're going to continue to build on that.
Okay. Speaking of championships, I know you had mentioned that you want to have multiple championships within the promotion, or is there any update besides the world title championship?
Yeah, after the world title, the next is going to be tag titles. And we're probably, I would like to, I don't know if we're going to be able to, based on just, it's hard enough to book a tag division nowadays, but I'd like to have a trios title situation at some point.
Yeah, because I believe not even just independents, I think major promotions also are missing on trios. I think the last trio championship we had was Ring of Honor, and it was received well. They had, I know their inaugural champions, I believe, were the Kingdom with Matt Taven and Cameron Vincent. So
yeah,
I would look forward to that, because that's something that a lot of people sleep on, and a lot of trios matches are by far some of the more entertaining matches, at least.
I agree. I think the lack of it is just because it's difficult to book. If you have a trios title and you're defending that, you're booking 3 guys into one match, right? Mm-hmm. From one end and then 3 from the other. So you have 6 guys, hotel, flights, everything. It's an expensive task to have regularly. And if you have a title that you don't see defended regularly, does that title even matter anymore?
No, that's 24/7 title.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're going to introduce a title, you want it to be something that you can book regularly and continue to push and give some type of value.
And then speaking on your champions, once they do appear, are you going to have them defend at every show possible, or are you going to have like them having an off show where they might not have to defend? Because I know another catalyst or another reason a lot of people don't like other promotions are because they have champions who don't perform at every show. And I think a lot of us have grown to see champions always performing at a show, whether it's a weekly show, whether it's a monthly show, whatever the case is. I think a lot of people don't want to have another run where, for example, Brock Lesnar, where he was champion and he defended it maybe 4 times in that year span.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people don't want that again, especially in the independent scene where it's not as expensive as other promotions, so we all want to go and support you guys. So I think that's another focal point for a lot of people to want their champions always defending it when possible.
I think it's really important for your champion to be at every show. That being said, I don't think you need to have a championship match at every show. The way I'm looking at that is, if you're not going to always have a number one contender that the audience is going to look at and go, this person's going to take that title. You want to have believability to this, right? If your champion is defending at every show, there's plenty of times where you're going to look at it and go, this match is going to be fun, but we know who's going to win, because the champion is like, he's going to just hold on to this title. He's going to keep moving forward. I think it's important for your champion to appear, but there needs to be a build-up to championship matches. It's not just, hey, this person's going to have a title match.
You just don't want to throw a match in together. It goes back to having the death matches mean something. You want to have the championship matches mean something as well.
If we can get it to a place where every time that title is being defended, you're looking at it and going, I don't know who's going to win this match. I don't know where this is going. That's the goal. You know, if the WWE World title was defended every night on Monday night, would you look at it and go, it's going to change hands tonight?
No. I think
exactly.
It dilutes the value of the championship.
Yeah, but if that title hasn't been defended for, 4 or 5 months, and suddenly, Brock Lesnar's been on TV every week, but that title's getting defended at SummerSlam for the first time in 4 or 5 months, there's an opportunity there now to say, okay, he could really be losing it here, And that's what we're going for.
I know you guys have a big weekend coming up. I believe it's July 22nd, 23rd. This is your first back-to-back weekend of shows, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You going back to Cleveland and debuting in Detroit. Speaking of debuts, I know you just recently had Homicide announced, and you have the Impact World Champ Josh Alexander announced for Detroit. How did those come about, and should we be seeing any other big names, maybe even Impact? Because I know you also announced Trey Miguel for the Cleveland show, which is another Impact star. So is this maybe a working relationship with Impact, or
it's nothing official with Impact? It's the talent. The Impact talent is, for the most part, kind of like AEW. They're available to take independent bookings. Obviously, Mike Bailey's been on every independent show there is, and these guys are all around everywhere. So, we reached out. They're interested. There's been a lot of these guys that are kind of like bigger TV names, or seeing the product we're putting out and have good relationships with a lot of the guys that are on our roster, like Jake Christ and Ricky and whatnot, and they vouch for the legitimacy of how we operate, and they're willing to come over and give it a shot and see how they like it, and hopefully they'll return. I don't want to be known as like, okay, Circle 6 is the place where TV talent is coming and doing independent bookings and then leaving, unless it's going to benefit guys that we're going to be using regularly here. Like, we got Josh Alexander coming in doing a match with JJ Garrett. I think that's going to greatly benefit JJ, and he's going to get an opportunity to shine. People are going to be able to tune in and see what his capabilities are, and that's going to benefit us. We put Brody King in with Kevin Giza, which you bring in someone like Brody, and you would expect him to be in a match kind of in a high profile situation like what we did with Biff on the first show. But Kevin Giza is somebody who's proven to me that he's a great talent. He's a hard worker, willing to sacrifice, and he's someone that we want to keep around. Well, okay, let's put him in there with Brody and see what he can do and see if he can hang. That match is good exposure for him, and it's something that we can always go back to and go, this is where Kevin Giza got a break,
So you guys, the company's more in tune with having regulars and showing the regulars better positions where they get to try them to test themselves against bigger names, whether it's the Josh Alexanders, the Brody Kings, the Homicides. So, do you see yourself booking more local talent that are up and coming, or
Depends where we are and like what the local talent is. Like Southern California, we're bringing in the Conglomerate from San Francisco. They're guys that I talked to them about now traveling them out with us when we're going east. I know they've done a decent amount of like coast to coast travel here and there, but I want to get them kind of into our regular loop. Yeah, it really just it depends on the talent. I love using local guys. We did it in Orlando with No Peace. Used some people down there, but it really just it depends who makes sense on our show and what spots we have to fill. If you kind of look show to show, we've been carrying a lot of the same roster over from one event to the next, so there aren't that many open spaces. But when we have the opportunity to do something, we definitely will. Now, that's not saying that if we bring in a big name, we're not going to try to make some dream matches happen. Like going back to Brody and Biff, that was something where that match should have happened years ago, and they just kind of missed each other as one was going to NXT and one was becoming who, like Brody is now.
Yeah,
but we had a little window to make that match happen, and we did it.
Yeah, because I think another good comparison is even the Ricky Shane Page and Christopher Daniels match, where a lot of people saw that and were like, "Oh, this is something I didn't know I needed." Like it's a dream match that no one really thought of that really delivered on that first opening show. That was the opening match of the promotion, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. I was really adamant about having Christopher Daniels be the first person to step in our ring, just because I grew up in LA watching Christopher Daniels my whole life as a kid.
At the Frankenson show.
At the Frankenson shows, at PWG, Rev Pro, and like all that. So seeing Daniels be the first one there, I was like, all right, this like makes it feel really special, At least it was special to me. I don't give a fuck if anyone else thought it was special or not.
It was special for a few of us. Even in attendance, we were like, oh, yeah, we haven't seen Daniels out here in a long time.
Yeah, and Daniels is someone I want to bring back, too.
And then speaking on debuts, I know I mentioned earlier you guys have Trey Miguel along with Myron Reed at the Cleveland show. And they're going to be teaming with their old buddy, Zach.
Yep.
Reforming the Rascals. We're missing a member. He's doing well.
Yeah.
Is there any opponents lined up for them? Are you going to keep them in a trios match, or are you going to have them separate and maybe do singles or tag matches?
It's a trios match.
So
it'll be the whole point of booking them was for it to be a trios match. I'm not sure who it's going to be against just yet, but it's definitely like I wanted to have that moment of having them all together again.
And they're all from
they're all from Ohio area, Cleveland
Ohio
area in Ohio. So that was the main goal. There is like a homecoming.
Yeah, I know. I picture it just being their homecoming. I know 440 might not feel too fond about that because I feel like they've laid claim to Ohio as theirs.
Yeah, they do lay claim to it. Listen, no matter what I do, 440 complains about something. So we're just gonna keep chugging along over there.
So I know, speaking on Zach was a recent addition to the promotion.
Yeah.
How did that call go when you did call him? And if I'm not mistaken, his first match back from his NXT tenure was with you guys in Orlando with the No Peace joint effort.
Yeah, he told me that after we spoke, he felt a sense of like relief and was very emotional about it afterwards. I don't want to speak too much on him, but like as far as like his words, but he was very much like surprised that we hit him up so quick. We definitely got a little bit of backlash on that from our office, from knowing Zach personally. I felt comfortable vouching for his credibility as a person, as a human.
And this was taking more of a calculated risk that you were comfortable doing.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'll put it like this: I didn't reach out to him. We didn't hit him up because we're like, oh, this is going to get us great press. This is going to be. People are going to be talking about this. Like, that wasn't really a factor in the decision making. It was more so I felt that we needed to give him an opportunity because I know kind of how things run within the industry and how everyone is waiting for everyone else to make a move before they step in and say anything. Nobody wants to be the ones to take the heat right from the get-go. And starting this, we wanted to be different. We wanted to be the ones that were like, no, if we feel something is wrong, we're going to say something. If we feel we can make a change or help someone or help a situation, we're going to do it. So we reached out to him, and obviously he accepted. And I know he was kind of nervous leading into the whole situation. When we announced him, he didn't actually repost it directly.
Yeah, I think
because he was waiting to make his statement and everything, which I totally understood. I told him, I go, look, you don't have to promote this, you don't have to do whatever. Like, just come, wrestle, get back in the ring.
Yeah, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was radio silence from him, social media wise, because he just, with all the fallout he had. So I know when I saw that, I was more hyped for it because I followed his career since his PWG run and all the even CZW when he was there as well. So I know for me, I was glad that someone gave him an opportunity just to come out of the shadows, because a lot of people get thrown in there and they don't get that lifeline to get out.
No.
And a lot of people suffer from it, whether it goes back to the whole YouTube movement or whatever the case was, or even after that, there's other people now that we've even spoken about that are in a position that can't get help.
Yeah.
So it just shows a lot, and I hope a lot of other wrestlers see this, that if you have mistakes, if you have skeletons in your closet, or you had just a bad lapse of judgment, that they can come here with you and still have an opportunity and still have a lifeline, to say the least, to try to get their life back on track. Because this is probably one of the best things that has happened to Zach, and he's taken full advantage of it with his last 2 matches.
No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's not like we're not here to try to like uncancel people. Like, that has nothing to do with any of this. It's literally just our standpoint of, we know you, we looked at the situation, we think that, we're not afraid to make our stance public for it, and we just went with it, And Zach's been a great addition. After that first show, I asked him how things were going, and he was like, I got booking with VXS, and Warrior called me, and this company called me, and this company called me. I was like, we took a little bit of heat in the beginning from people that, to be honest, probably weren't going to watch our product anyway. They just saw it getting reposted and whatnot and tried to call us shitbags for booking them. And then after that, it was, business as usual. And
off to the races.
Off to the races, and Zach's working through his stuff, and we're here to support him as much as we can. And as long as things continue to go the way they're going with him, and, he stays a good person, which I know he is, like, there's no reason to not have him a part of the family.
All right, and to go back to the original article I first wrote about you guys, I remember I first made a comparison to CZW. Yeah. And I want to correct that, because I feel like I was a mistake on my end, because after going to the first show and then going to the last show in Los Angeles, I truly do feel that you guys are a better comparison for the start of the company is when Progress first started out in the UK. It just gives off more of that punk rock vibe. It's more, if I had to picture and go back to those years when Progress first started, I feel like your shows are exactly what they were like in the UK.
That's a huge compliment. I appreciate that.
Because I feel like there's a lot of comparisons to what you guys are doing now to what Progress had been doing in the start. And I know you and I have spoken off the record where I think Atticus is really in a point in his career, especially within this promotion, that he can turn into a good run, whether it's with the championship or not, where he can just have that. I know a lot of people may not like this comparison because of what he done personally, but wrestling-wise or company-wise, I think Atticus is on a trajectory to follow the wrestling of Jimmy Havoc when he first had that reign in Progress, that monster heelish reign where he was, I think, champion for over a year, beating up everybody, just being that devilish heel. And I really do see Atticus in that sense where he, given the right opportunity, he can take that ball and just take from whatever promotion he's in to that next level, because he's just that good of a performer at such a young age.
I agree. I think he's fantastic for his age to begin with. I think he's a great representative of not just our company but independent wrestling as a whole. I think he's incredibly well spoken. He's a caring person. He was the right guy to be our face, for what we're trying to do. I know a lot of people when even actually the cage match cagematch.net.
Death Cage.
No, the wrestling cage match. Yeah, Wikipedia. Yeah, they still have him listed as an owner of the company, and we've been
Yeah,
trying to separate that a little bit just from a booking perspective. I know there's going to be like some backlash, fans going like, "Oh, he's booking himself into this, he's booking himself into that." He is a wrestler, he is a
Soul
friend,
wrestler.
he is not an owner, he's not a partner. It has nothing to do with that. He's just one of the most supportive people in our ecosystem, and that's just wanted to clarify that. No backlash from the fans. He's not booking himself into anything.
So for the record, Atticus is not an owner of Circle Six. I think we have that on the record now that he's not an owner. Hopefully we can get that changed.
Yeah, he dropped it in a promo, in that last promo. But people probably still think that's a part of the.
They keep kayfabe going.
Yeah.
So with everything said, is there anything that you would like to announce? Whether it's a new show besides the July ones, is there anything, maybe a match you want to announce for any upcoming shows?
I'm not going to give you any matches because we have a bunch of announcement stuff for that, like that's going to pop off. But I will give you shows. We got a crazy summer schedule coming in. Obviously, we got July 22nd in Detroit. July 23rd in Cleveland. Right after that, we got a week off, and then we're going to Texas for, I think, 3 dates. We got August 5th, 6th, and 7th. The 5th in Houston, the 6th in San Antonio, and the 7th in Dallas. And then we're going to be back in LA August 18th. We're going to be in Las Vegas August 20th. And then we got trip back to the Northeast in the beginning of September, and we'll be back in LA at some point in September, and we're probably gonna have about 3 or 4 more shows after that leading into the end of the year, and next year is probably gonna be a crazy enough schedule where I may just die.
Well, let's hope not, because we still, like you mentioned, Atticus is not the owner, so we need somebody to.
If I die, there's
hold
plenty
the
of
reins.
people to take care of it after I'm gone, so we'll
Mike,
be all good.
I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate everything you've done. Again, promotion is running well. The last show is probably your best show by far,
Thank you.
production-wise, in-ring-wise. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing fantastic. I appreciate the opportunity and everything else you guys have done so far.
Dude, thank you. Let's keep doing this. I like actually getting to talk with you about a lot of this stuff because I don't use my personal social media or anything. I don't really like.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, probably for the best. It's all that shit's really toxic. I don't really want to be a part of it. We hired somebody in house to deal with most of our social media because I don't even want to look at it because it's really nasty out there.
Whoever's doing it, I know
Yeah.
I might not be the same person, but the artwork you guys have been doing for some of the posters,
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Like that, the Detroit artwork for I think
Detroit was actually Atticus. He,
that
he
artwork
did
that was
Yeah.
great. I might even have to pick a copy of that one up just to have.
Yeah, we'll hook you up
Yeah.
with an event poster for that.
So-
No problem.
Again, thank you. I hope everything else goes well, and we'll just keep updates every time we have a show in LA and anywhere else I can try to haggle my way in there.
Yeah, always, bro. Wherever you want to go, we got you.
Thank you.